Hey, in this video I'll show you layout types and explain it one by one. Let's dive in. Okay, let's start with layouts. So first off, let's add some layouts in our website. And to add layouts in your website, you have to go to first option, which is cube and plus icon, and go to basic, and you can see the layout options here. So we have currently 4 options: block, rows, columns, and grid. And let's start with the block. So block is simplest way of layouts. No order, no distribute or align options inside. So can be used as background or parent block, or you can use it to organize your UI, or can be used as container. So let's add 100 dvh height to this block, and let's add a color. So we have a block here, and you can add multiple blocks inside. So let's add 2 blocks inside, and let's make them 100 pixel to 75. There we go. And let's add some colors to these. Let's make this one brighter. So you might ask, this is block, but these are sorted vertically. So let's change that. Let's say you have multiple blocks inside, and you have a block, but you want to change the direction and you want to turn it into horizontal or columns or rows. So to do that, you have to go to right panel, find the layout, and go to display options. And as you can see, we have block, flex, and grid options. And let's go with the flex. So currently, it's set the direction of horizontal. We can choose the vertical as well. So let's go with the horizontal and select the distribute of center. And let's align it in center. So as you can see, we have 2 blocks inside the main block, and that main block or the parent block is set to horizontal or the columns, and you can play around with the gap here. So this is block. And let's go check out the rows now. So rows is basically allows you to sort or order your blocks inside in vertical. So rows comes with 2 blocks inside default. So let's add height of 100 dvh to parent row, and let's add a color to this as well. And let's make this one brighter, this one darker. So we have 2 blocks here, and let's make these 100 pixel as well. So these are set to vertical. Let's go with the center, and let's align it in the center. So we have a couple of options for distribute. Start will allow you to distribute your blocks inside at the start of the row. So start of the row is basically the top. We have the center, which will allow you to center your blocks inside. And also we have the end, because end in rows will be the bottom. And then we have space between, which will align the blocks to the top and bottom and create a gap between. And then we have space around. Space around will basically add gap in between and padding around. So paddings will be basically half of the gap in between. And we have space evenly, which will add same amount of gaps or the paddings in each side. But let's go with the center and let's play around with the gap. You can play around with the gap slider, and you can choose the option. Let's say you don't want to use pixels, but you want to go with EM. You can change the gap here as well. So let's set it to 8 EMs in gap. So we have the gap in between. And let's align it to the left, and let's align it to the start. Let's remove the gap here. Let's set the distribute to space between. So we have padding next. And let's choose 20 pixel padding. So we have 20 pixel here, and we have 10 pixel up here. So in total, we have 30 pixel of padding here. Let's make it 60 pixels. Let's turn these into 100% width. So as you can see, we have 60 pixels plus 10 pixel padding at the left and top and the right, each side basically. And let's check out the columns now. So columns will come with 2 blocks as well as default. And as you can see, these are set to horizontal order. And let's set height to 100 dvh, and let's add colors to these. Okay, so if you go to layout options here, as you can see, it's set the direction of left and right, basically horizontal. Let's set the width to 100 pixel for these, and let's set maximum height to 75 pixel as well. Not the parent block, but the child blocks. Okay, and let's set the distribute to center and align it to the center. As you can see, we have two blocks here in horizontal order. And let's play around with the distribute and align options. So first off, we have start. Start will be left side because if you think of horizontal stuff, left is your starting point. Center will be center, and end will be the right side of the horizontal block. And end will be the right side of the column. And let's go with the space between. Same as rows, we have gap in between, or blocks are aligned to left and right and created a gap in between. And let's go with the space around. And same as rows, we have two X gap here and X paddings here. And change it to space evenly, same as rows. And let's go with the center. And let's now align it to the top. So basically, rows and columns are reversed. So whatever you do and distribute in rows will be aligned in columns. So distribute start in rows will be align top, basically reversed. So align set to top, and your blocks will be aligned to the top. And let's go with the center and the end. And let's play around with the gap. So when you add gap here, unlike the rows, you will add gap in between two horizontal blocks. And let's go with the 8 EM here. So this is the gap. And let's check out the padding here. If we play around with the padding here, so let's make it 90 this time, you'll see 100 pixel of padding here because we have 10 pixel here. And if we remove that, we will be left with 90 pixel padding on each side. So this is the columns. Now let's check out the grid option. So grid will come with 4 blocks as default. So as you can see, we have 2 by 2, 4 grids here. And let's play around with the grid options. So we have columns and rows in control panel. And let's set columns to 3 and rows will be 2. Let's keep it as 2. So as you can see, now this grid turned into 3 by 2. So we have 3 columns and 2 rows. And let's add some blocks here so it's more visible. So we have 6 blocks in total inside, and let's make this one 2 by 3. So we have 2 columns and 3 rows. Let's change the width to 100 pixel. Let's set height of 100 pixels here. Okay, there we go. Let's change the rows to 8. Now we have 3 rows stuck to top because we have 3 rows in total, but it's set to 8. So we have 5 rows of empty slot here in the gap. Let's change the width and height. Let's take it back to 2 by 3. Okay. And what happens if we play around with the gap? So if we increase the gap, we have equal amount of, let's make this thing 40. And so we have 40 gaps in between the rows and the columns. So gap is separated equally in between the blocks. What happens if we play around with the padding here? So let's add 100 pixel of padding here. So we have equal amounts of paddings around the blocks here. So we have 100 pixel right, 100 pixel top, 100 pixel left, 100 pixel bottom. So this is the grid option. And that's it for the layout option.